This is an RCA 15X radio that I found at an antique store here about a few weeks ago. When I was there, I saw this radio in one of the booths up on a shelf, and I thought it was a really cool looking radio. So I took it down, looked at it, and on the back they had $30 on it. But at any rate, when I first looked at it, I thought it was kind of like a mid-1950s radio and all that. And I wasn't too sure what kind of radio it was. It wasn't until I got it home and started going through it to replace the caps and just whatever it may need. That's when I started to discover that this thing apparently had gone through some kind of a traumatic experience, and that's why it ended up in the cabinet that it's in. Because when I finally found out what kind of radio it actually was, I got on the internet and started doing a search, to get a schematic and all that kind of stuff for it, and found out what it actually was supposed to look like. So anyway, we'll touch on the cabinet here in a few minutes. So right now I think I'll just go through and just kind of give a quick demo of it, all right?
So we've been talking
out our hands to a strange God.
세일 브랜드 제품을 구입하시면 사은품 세트를.
That overturned vehicle has all but the far left lane blocked on 85 southbound at Lawrenceville Swanee Road. That's creating delays almost back.
You heard that one of your players, Patrick Dennehy, was missing.
37th and City Hill and out of the race.
Get longer and longer and longer.
Right.
That's where the
And he was
Sure.
Hi.
Yes. Scouts.
The left cable news networks.
Deshaun
Radio. A federal judge in Kentucky says a law.
Now this right control over here is just the tone on-off.
I'm inviting you to tune in.
answer to the question is?
I'm leaving because it's a...
Yeah.
You'll always be my lover, 'cause I will always want you so.
Now if I turn the radio up quarter turn, I'll lose this station, I lose other stations, and then of course I'll pick up other stations. Now I'll show a couple of the other features this thing here has on it on the back. Right here we have a phono in, and here's a preamp out. And to select the phono,
The thing is, there are no moderates in the... there are no more moderates in the Democratic Party. I mean, for the most part...
flip that little switch up. And the first two songs I'll just do real quick because I wanted to get a copyright bang on it.
I beg your pardon. I never promised you a rose garden along with the sunshine. Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money. Maybe we're ragged and funny, but we'll travel along singing a song. down, 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 I'll go off to Missouri.
And as for the preamp out, I got it hooked into this amplifier over here.
With great big ears to tell my troubles to. If you turn me down,
So now,
down, 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 I'll go up to a
when you turn the volume up and down, it also turns the amplifier over there up and down.
hot with frozen tears, the tears I cry for you. Don't intend to stay and be
The tone controller also affects the output.
of my embrace. I'll take my memories to some faraway place. If you turn me down, 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 I'll go up on a mountain. And I'll pray till you send
Okay, so now
that message through.
I'll show you the inside of it and what I found out. Yeah, before I take this thing apart, there's something I meant to show you. Now, when this cabinet was built, I don't know if they did this on purpose or if this was on accident. You know, maybe they got their measurements off. The front of this little pointer is supposed to be up here in this little empty space up here. It's not supposed to be down here between the numbers. So that whole dial thing up there is down further than where it should be. So through up here where the name RCA Victor is, you can see inside the radio and you can see the tubes lit up. And you can kind of see one there, one over there, which I think is kind of cool that you can see inside the radio through the front. Here, let me turn this light off. Maybe you can see them a little bit better. Alright. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool though, that when you can, when you got the radio on, you can actually see the tubes lit up inside there. So anyway, we'll go ahead and take it apart and I'll show you what's inside. Okay, now here's the radio out of its case on.
Yes, sir. Brian Crabtree, the Brian Crabtree Show.
It's not, will there be conflicts? There are conflicts. Kushner's a business guy. He's meeting with all these top people who have money and bankers. The conflict is an obvious one.
All right, that's Chris Cuomo, CNN's New Day this morning, and they're just going nuts over there at CNN and many of the leftist outlets about Trump's new SWAT team, the Innovation Office, which will be led by his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. That's Ivanka's husband. The SWAT team is an overhaul of government bureaucracy.
Okay, now, this is what I found out with this thing once I got it apart. When I had it over there at the antique store, I didn't notice that the bottom of the original case was inside this cabinet. I went ahead and took the screw out so that way there I can take this thing out. As I found out, once I took it out, and I'm glad I did, that's how I found out what this thing was. It was a Model 15X. And so that's how I was able to find the schematic and find out what year this thing was. And because of the style of this cabinet, to me it appeared like it was like a mid-50s or something. But as I found out, it's a about 1940, 1942 radio. Now I think what happened is this thing took a traumatic hit or something, because right up here, this here looks like this had been bent and somebody had bent it back. And this little corner down here, I don't know if you can see it too well, is still kind of sticking out a little bit, which kind of corresponds to this case. Because if you notice, on this side over here, what's left of it, if you look real close, you can kind of see where somebody's taken a saw to the case and basically cut this side off. Now if you look over here, it doesn't look that way. It's not straight or anything. It's just a jagged, like it just, I don't know, like it got dropped or something. I don't know if like maybe somebody caught the cord and it came off a table or a shelf. And see right here, there's a, you can see where the cabinet's got a crack right through it right there. So I guess my guess is what happened is this thing fell off a shelf, somebody dropped it or something, and somebody either really liked this radio a lot and got somebody to build a cabinet for it, or the person who owned this thing was a woodworker and then decided to build a cabinet for it. And when I did get into it, it did have some changes in there. There were some capacitors that had already been changed, some resistors that had been changed, and the capacitors that were in there, the small ones, they were already had started going faulty again. So I went ahead and re-replaced those, tuned it back up, and obviously I I don't know if any of the tubes survived. The only one I think could possibly be the original might be this one over here due to the date code on it. But all these others, they're all different brands. They're not RCA. Everything else has been changed in it. And so I wouldn't be surprised if some of those tubes got busted or whatever may have happened to it. I'm not sure. So anyway, this is my 15X radio that I have. Thanks for watching.